How are you, Jojo? You alright, mate? P&D with Quay. The best to keep my kid off the streets. Unfortunately, it's not about keeping him off the streets. He doesn't want to stay off the streets because he doesn't want to stay in the house. Most kids don't want to sit in the house all night. They want to get out and about. So, what do you do? What can you do, mate? Except speak to him on a regular. If you've got the time and the necessities and the flexibility, fill them hours of an evening with you. His cousins, his uncles, if he's got any. You know, if you've got a mate who's got a son, well, then go off with the pair of them somewhere. Give them a different option, different outlook on life. If your kid's getting used to, as a routine, going out your front door, going to the bottom of the road and chilling with that crowd, it's routine eventually, and you know what it's like. That routine, you don't want to break it because your life goes. It's like you stepping into your workplace for the first time. Eventually you're going to become best mates with the workplace, aren't you? And you're going to start doing what the workplace, if they're going for a scran at 12 o'clock, you're going with them. If they're going for a bevy at the end of the shift on a Friday, you're going with them. You get stuck in that routine for the rest of your life. The rest of your life, 10, 30 years of the work there, you're there doing that, aren't you? Same with the kids on the streets. Stepping into that group is like stepping into work for the first time. It's like a workforce. Same sort of camaraderie. It's like going into a platoon. It's like going into a brotherhood of soldiers. They don't realise when they're stepping in there, but eventually, when they get into something difficult, when they get into an altercation and they've all stood next to each other and had a little battle with whoever the altercations were, well then it's unbreakable, that mind and that loyalty, that sort of connection between them all. And wherever the main man goes, so in that altercation, you will have had one that was shining out of them all in the confrontation, like he broke his jaw and dropped in. He'll be shining in this group. He'll be automatically on the pedestal as the leader of the group. And if he's a good leader, happy days. You know, he'll guide your kids to where he wants to go as a good man, as a good kid. But if he's not good, you know, if he's poisoned, if he's diluted, if his ma's got a crack addiction, if he's been raised with drug dealers stepping over him since he was a kid, but then he's going to drag your kid down that way, isn't he? He's going to be a bad leader. He's going to lead by force. He's going to lead by manipulation, deceit, coercion, grooming. Why? Because that's all the kid knows. He's had dirty, rotten drug dealers like himself now, knocking at his ma's house, killing her off in front of him, getting a little £2 thrown at him by the drug dealers. When he's old enough, the drug dealers are now floating him around on a bike, not giving about his welfare, just know we can have this kid for the rest of his life. Majority of the kids that are dealing are coming from households where the ma's have got addictions. Why? Because they're seeing that type of behaviour around them. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter when that ma's engaged in that behaviour or that dad's engaged in that behaviour. It's only a matter of time before that kid is seeing transactions, seeing attitudes, clothing, cars, watches, cash on the side, drugs being smoked. It's only a matter of time. When you've got a kid, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, amongst that, watching that in the house, they don't keep it away like our ma's used to do to us. You know, the dodgy, don't let the kids see it, don't let the kids see it. These days, you've got dads sitting there counting dough and bagging swag up, while the bird and the kids there watching cartoons. So how do you expect these kids to survive a normal life when you've got parents who are scum? It's like my parents. How did you expect me to lead a law-abiding life when I've got two dirty pissheads for parents? You can't expect me to be this A-class student, can you? And if you look at the council estates now, 50% have got addictions. If it's not to illegal substances, it's to legal substances of the doctors. Even the ones that aren't on substances, they're drinking wine like they're not pissheads every night. Oh, we only have a bottle every night, do you? Stop lying. You're touching a bottle and a half, 2 bottles now. You've been at it for years. You're looking rough as well. Haven't got a pick on your body, not when you're 40, because you've been living life like that since you were 26. All these young birds who are making dough on the back of whatever they're making off, all of a sudden thinking they're grown women and posh, sitting in the kitchens drinking wine at 26 every night, thinking it's a millionaire's wife and that. You're going to be a pisshead by the time you're 14 and don't give a shit what you say. But I'm not ripping no one. If that's what you do, that's what you do. You know, you're caught up in a mess, just like we all are. We were educated to fuck our lives up, and that's exactly what we all have done. The ones that didn't fuck their lives up was getting used for all their life by the government, the system, working to the grave. It's got absolutely destroyed, mate, didn't we? The education we were given, the beliefs we were given, the discrimination that was planted firmly in our minds from an early age. It's crazy, isn't it, what they've done to us? And you know what we're meant to do? Is protect the kids underneath us from this. From what they're doing to them now. Our parents never protected us. Why? Because they started getting on the crack, the smack, drinking and all this. So they were unfocused and saying, whoa, what's happening here? Don't want my kids ending up like that. And what's happening to all us now? How many Scouse men, when they had their kid, when they had their little boy, was over the moon, buzzing. Little image of you. He's going to give you a kid, he's going to have a bird, he's extending the family over the moon. And then he comes through your door at 15 and says, Dad, I'm confused. I've been in school since 13 and they've been battering me head with this. Now I'm thinking, I love men. This is what you should be protecting the kids from. The education system, the curriculum, the discrimination that they're planting. Yes, we, Annie. Trust me, lad, we should be protecting the kids from the bastards that ruined us, and we're not. We're just screaming and just letting the kids get tethered. Isn't it? And now you're hearing about, someone's mentioning Diddy there, now you're hearing about Puff Daddy. That was his name, wasn't it, back in the day, Puff Daddy. Or P. Diddy or Sean Combs. They all reinvent themselves, them dodgy. They like Jay-Z and Eminem, Snoop Dogg. All keep on reinventing themselves, don't they, to get away from the past. But you've got people like him in the city of Liverpool. I'm hearing the details of that, and I've been hearing the details of that on parties in Liverpool, from young men and women in Liverpool. And I've screamed about them since it came on my table for years, mate. Them parties that you're seeing over in America with the horse tranquilizer and all this, and you know, do what they want to, whoever they want. That's happening all over in UK right now, and has been for decades, mate. Get in a twist. It's only a matter of time before it all comes out. It's only a matter of time before it all comes out, mate. You know what our system's like, don't you? You know what the political system's like. You know what the broadcasting companies are like, don't you? Why do you think the music industry isn't like the one in America? Remember years ago, right? The BBC used to go to schools up north and get a certain class, a certain age, and coach them all up and take them down London. I was one of them when I was a kid. I don't know how they got there. I'm the naughtiest kid in the school. So I'm the naughtiest kid in the school. Do you understand what I'm saying? And there's something like 50 spaces to go to the BBC television studios in London. This is in the naughty times of children when they're getting harmed. So this is around 87, 88, 89, that year. So what is it like? That's how you're 9 or 10 years old basically. So early 80s. They just come and went, right, you've been selected, Darren, you're going to Scouse. I told you the other night, didn't I? And we were going to this children's TV programme called Cheryl Baker, or Eggs and Bacon. Eggs and Baker it was, a blonde-haired woman. And I'm just convinced that was like the process of abuse. They never just done it to Major Leicester School. Major Leicester School got shut down. It was weird the way they just shut Major Leicester down. It was a promising, popular school. But there was a lot of abuse in there. A lot, mate. I'd get in trouble in that school and get took to Mr. Gowan's office. He'd sit me down in the chair, lecture me, have me do so many lines, then have me put my hands flat on this big wooden desk. And then he had this like wooden ruler about this long, thick, square, thick wooden ruler. And he'd give me 10 smacks across my hands there. Did you ever get like that when you were kids? This is early 80s, this, you know. This is only 30 years ago, this, people. And that's what it was like in your school. I used to get sat in the corner. Sit in the corner and face the wall. Honest to God, lad. Mad. So what makes you think it's changed? The people that run them schools are the teachers from back in the day that were smashing our hands in with rulers. What? Now they're like the high ranking, you know, who control 10 schools. It's like the busies that used to batter us when we were kids. Nothing's changed. What's changed is their position in that police force. When they were battering us, they were little PCs, corrupt as. There they are now, detective chief inspectors of the whole force. What's changed? Nothing. It's like saying I'm going to change my business and keeping the same workforce that's been performing horrendously all your business. You're not changing your business, are you? It's the same with the police. Unless you clean all that scum out of there, it's always going to be the same. Same with the government. Unless you clean all that scum out of there, it's going to be the same. It's like on your streets. Unless you clean all that scum off your streets, it's always going to be the same. Have you seen what they do now? They just psychologically harm your children when they misbehave in school. They do? They do, mate. Yeah, so you as a mum or you as a dad, imagine being placed in a room with cubicles in it. No one else in there. Just you sat in a cube for 2 hours with pens and paper. So what happens to your kids when they misbehave? They get secluded from the classroom, get placed in these mad little areas. I forgot what they call them now, but it's in every school now. And they'll place them in this classroom by themselves in a cubicle, which is a wall, and a chair. And they've got to stay there. And you'll probably have an observation panel like a prison cell with a teacher just looking in every couple of minutes. And this is how they're treating your kids if they don't get in line in school. They can't whack them with rulers and that no more. Why? Because there's implications these days. They'll get arrested and charged for assault. But they've got certain rules and conditions which is basically like the law outside the school. So you see outside the school you've got rules and regulations that the law implements and you've got to stick by them. Well, inside the school there's rules and regulations, and if you don't stick by them, just like outside, there's consequences for your actions, and there's ways of dealing with you and punishing you. And in the school system, this is what they do: isolate your kid and absolutely numb them. And then after so long in them rooms, your kid starts getting frustrated, starts getting angry, starts getting upset, starts kicking the door. All of a sudden your kid's a crazy kid now. And you're getting called into school because your kid's starting to act erratic. They're not considering that he's just spent 5 or 6 sessions isolated in one of these rooms and now he's going off his barnet in the school. They're making him that way. Have you ever been locked in a room against your will? You might have had it done when you were a kid, if you've got parents and he locked you in your bedroom. And you'd try your hardest, cry your eyes out till you were exhausted and just go to sleep. Wouldn't you? Well, I would. That's what I'd do. So when you've got a young lad or a young girl getting locked off in one of these rooms, left, they're going to start up. And if you impact them psychologically like that without the man knowing, they go in Monday morning, they misbehave a little bit that afternoon, they're trapped in a room for 2 hours by themselves, going in. They get let out, they're alright, they're functioning okay, but then they've misbehaved again, bang again. That extreme psyche is having an impact on this kid's mind now. He's still being himself. He's not misbehaving any further. He's just being as normal. He's misbehaved again. You know, the kid's got different energy levels. He's got behavioural problems somewhere that's not identified, but he's being punished now because they haven't identified what's going on with the kid. They're just punishing him. Why are they punishing him in that way? Because he's preventing the group being conditioned the way they want it to be. If they've got a group of kids in a class spit from a textbook that they're told to say, and you've got this one kid bouncing around disrupting these kids, taking them, you know, this into their minds, you've got to remove them sharpish, otherwise it's the thing that they're trying to implement into the minds of the kids, which is control and order basically. It's all done to the clock, it's all done to the beep, it's all done to the bell. Do you understand? If your kids want to go to the toilet now, they can't. They've got to wait till 10 o'clock to go to the toilet. Like prison. When you go to the education department in prison, you can't just get up and go to the toilet. You could used to, but there was that much misbehaving. They said, right, you've got breaks. So you'll go in at a certain time, then at 10 o'clock you'll have a little half an hour break. In that time, that's when you'll use your toilet and that's when you can do all this. But kids are different. When a kid needs to piss, he needs to piss. So as a result of these restrictions that they're putting on kids, you've now got kids pissing their pants. I'm not lying. You've got children weeing their pants in classes because of these new things. And what that does is to these kids, in a classroom full of kids pissing his pants, he's not going to live it down. That's a full year of bullying. Could be the rest of the school year is bullied. I just hate what they're doing to us all, people. I hate what they've done to us all. Even you that don't think he's being around by this government. Not just this, I mean everything. The system. The system, mate. Nice one, Stanley, Manchester.
Things aren't going to change with the same management and the same mantras. I suppose my question,
what you should do is look at Ireland to see where you're going in this country. It's easier to roll out in Ireland They're isolated. They can't really do nothing. So it's getting rolled out in Ireland initially, and then it'll be rolled out here. And what they're doing in Irish schools is disgusting. If you don't know, go and research it. What they're doing in Irish schools is absolutely disgusting. They're signing your kids into secrecy packs. Do you know that? They're signing your kids into secrecy packs, mate. Your kids are sitting down with authorities in the school and signing a contract where they don't tell no one what's said in this classroom. Like this, so they're encouraging your kids and educating your kids to believe that everything the government say is absolutely true. And anyone else that says anything against it is lying and wrong and it's untruthful. That's basically what they're doing to Irish kids now. Mad that. You know, remember last year or the year before, your kids would go to school and they'll be doing a subject in school and they'll bring the book home and do the homework in the book on the subject. And your ma and your dad will be able to get access to the book and let's see what you're doing in school. Let's see what you're thinking about. Let's see what you're writing. Let's see what they're educating you every day. What you'll notice is that they're not coming home with them books, are they? Some certain years in the education system now, they're not bringing them books home with them, what they're working on in school. They're deliberately getting kept back. What you'll see, your kids won't have much homework these days. Honest to God, lad. How are you, CJ? Tell you alright, mate? Just talking about anything and everything, really, mate. So if you've got anything to say, if you want to drag this conversation in any direction, drop a comment, drop a little question or something you want to speak about and we'll get on it. I'll give you my opinion and if the comments follow it, we'll keep it going.